Alright guys, and welcome to another video. Today, we're talking about how Sunwell is going to be the Dad Guild breaking raid of TBC Classic. So Sunwell has finally been announced for a 12th of May Thursday release. Fortunately for the Americans, it's going to release at a very social time in the afternoon. Fortunately for my EU boys and my guild, it's going to release at midnight. If I get a spot in my raid team, guys, I will stream it, so watch out for the community post or a Discord announcement, or simply just follow me on my Twitch. You'll find all of that in the description down below. I reckon this raid will be pretty unbeatable by many of the more casual raiding guilds in the community. My guild didn't have much time to actually try it out on the PTR. Barely even got a chance to have a full raid group on the PTR of everyone in the guild, but I'm not going to lie, we didn't even get past the first boss. This is finally actually going to be a progression raid, just like how Naxxramas was in Classic WoW, but with way more difficulty and a shorter boss count. I still think Sunwell is going to be much harder than Nax though. It's pretty normal when you progress in a raiding guild on retail to wipe more than 10 times on a raid boss, or potentially wipe on a boss all night before you finally get it down. But Classic WoW dad gamers aren't used to this kind of gameplay. They're used to, getting week 1 clears or at least week 2 clears. They're going to be throwing their toys out the pram after about 5 wipes on one raid boss. Obviously the wipe recovery on retail is much faster. You practically release spirit inside a raid now, and you can quickly port back to the boss usually. So it makes the process of multiple wipes a bit easier to deal with. But a lot of people in the Classic community simply do not have that kind of patience, and they don't really have as much time either. You only have to join a pug in Classic to fully witness the lazy attitude that is in the Classic community. After one wipe in something like, Tempest Keep pug, people normally start leaving. There's going to be a lot of impatient people having a good moan in Discord while trying to clear Sunwell. In my opinion, there's probably going to be a lot of drama and a lot of falling out. Most guilds should expect not to clear it on the first and likely second reset, and to be honest, I've probably been a little bit generous there with most TBC Classic guilds. Many guilds probably won't be able to clear it for a good month. Some will probably have to wait for it to nerf state to even get any progression done. This is because the second you walk into Sunwell, you're faced with immense difficulty. Even the trash mobs are pretty difficult to deal with, and you're going to wipe on them a few times. They can't just be stacked together and AoE down, because all the mobs pack a punch. We have all their unique crazy mechanics, like the irritating mages that blink and start arcing, exploding the entire raid, which is extremely irritating. It's going to take quite a lot of practice before guilds can officially take down all the trash on the way to the first boss. And then Caligos absolutely pumps. The amount of AoE arcane damage constantly pulverizing the raid is insane. It's why people are actually using arcane protection potions on the boss to even get some progression done. Even following a perfect portal rotation won't save you. There's simply just so much damage going out of a raid, because of every arcane buffet, you take more and more damage from it. And this is the easiest boss in a raid. Then we have Brutalis for Tank Melter. He ups for 20k damage with Meteor Slash, but that isn't really the main problem with this ability. It reduces the tank's armor by 50%. This means tanks actually have to time their mitigation abilities and trinkets. If they mess it up, it's likely they're just going to get one-shotted and there you go, it's a wipe. So everyone else in the raid also has to min-max reducing the damage the tanks take. Example being an Affliction Warlock with a Shadow Embrace talent. You need to respec into that bad boy. And a Survival Hunter being, having an owl or a bat for the Screech ability. He also has a nasty debuff that gets applied to a random raid member called Burn that will melt them down, and also has the ability to spread the play, so you really have to be on the ball with running out of the raid. Thirdly, we have Felmis, another boss that likes to melt the entire raid with insane AoE damage. Firstly, with Encapsulate, this lifts a random player into the air, deals 5 ticks of big AoE arcane damage to everyone close by. If you don't move fast out of this enough, it will just melt the raid. There's also Gas Nova that has to be instantly mass dispelled since it deals so much damage and drains mana. Demonic Vapor, which will beam a random player and leave a nasty AoE damage dealing fog that summons skeletons. And then on top of that, you have Fog of Corruption, where the boss will just decimate a big portion of the battlefield with her Dragon Breath, and if people get caught in it, it's just a guaranteed death, because they'll get permanently mind controlled and they have to be killed extremely quickly, because they'll just end up picking off other raid members who didn't get mind controlled. Eridar Twins, very aggro sensitive fight, so you can bet those tunnel vision DPS nutters are going to wipe the raid by focusing too much on passing and not on their threat meter. Either that, or we're going to wipe the raid with the Conflagration spell. If you don't move out of the raid fast enough, it spreads to everyone and deals constant AoE fire damage to everyone. Pretty much guaranteed wipe. Then we have Maru, the boss that barely anyone of the PTR actually managed to get past. It's a massive DPS race for this fight. You need people who actually know how to pass in the 90s to get through this fight, maybe even the high 90s. Because if you don't do enough DPS, it's just going to get harder and harder to survive. This is because there's a lot of different ads that are going to spawn. If you don't kill them fast enough, you will just get overwhelmed. And lastly, we have Killjoy, and most people are saying it's actually easier than Maru. But this doesn't mean it's an easy fight. It's a very technical fight with 5 different phases, each adding their own unique mechanics that get more and more difficult to deal with. And what's really cool is how you actually get to control a dragon that is absolutely essential to protect your raid from one-shotting mechanics. He's going to continuously be dropping one-shotting meteors. He starts dropping 3 at a time, but then he thinks, I'll just start dropping 5 instead. Shadow orbs are also continuously spawning. There are these orbs which will shoot random players with shadow bolts, and if a range don't get them down fast enough, they will just overwhelm the raid by picking off people one by one. Overall, it's a very technical fight with lots of micromanagement. It requires perfect timing with the dragon abilities, and it's probably the coolest fight I've actually seen in Classic WoW so far, so I can't wait for me to actually do it. I'm really looking forward to Sunwell personally. I only did a little bit of it on the PTR, and it's really got me excited for the release and the world first race. I can't believe there's people in the community who don't care about Sunwell. This would definitely be the best raiding experience you're going to get in Classic TBC, so why people want Blizzard to rush the Wrath release is totally beyond me. Yeah, I mean, Wrath is good and everything, but what's the harm in being a little bit patient and waiting for it? Let's take our time, smell the roses, and enjoy the last months of the TBC Classic experience before we go rushing into a new expansion. But anyway guys, that's where I'm going to end the video there. Good luck with your Sunwell progression and good luck with the loot. As always, my name is MetaGoblin. To my next video. Ciao.